What if moving to South Florida in 2025 feels completely different than you imagined? Not worse, not better, just not really what you thought. So you've seen the photos, the turquoise water, the rooftop views, the river walk, the palm-lined streets, but what no one really talks about are the parts that really don't make the brochure. Like how fast a perfect neighborhood can really feel all wrong, or how a low-tax paradise can come up with surprise costs that no one really prepared you for. You'll hear about the beach lifestyle, the endless summers, the boating, and even the all-day happy hours. They make it really sound like vacation all year round, every single day. But what you won't hear is what those first 3 months really feel like. When the heat sets in, you get hit with that humidity, and the insurance quotes arrive. Also, traffic that turns your 8-mile drive into a 45-minute headache. I've seen people move here and feel like they finally arrived. The rhythm clicks, the views feel earned, and it just fits at the end of the day. And I've seen others question it sooner than they've ever expected. The difference though between those two experiences has nothing to do with the price range, the age, or even the timing. It's something most people overlook completely. Now, people are still moving to South Florida in 2025, and it's not just because of the sunshine. Census data shows Florida added about 400,000 people between 2023 and 2024, with international migration playing a major role. Even with the slight slowdown, we still remain one of the fastest growing regions in the entire country. And the appeal starts with the basics. There's no state income tax, which is pretty nice, which draws in households from places like that of New York, California, and even Illinois. The cost savings alone can be enough to make someone reconsider their zip code entirely. Add in a booming job market and the picture gets a little bit clearer. Miami has become a growing hub for finance and tech, with companies like that of Citadel and Apple, even Microsoft building out their presence there. Then there's West Palm, which wants to transform into the Wall Street of the South, at least according to Stephen Ross, who's the billionaire owner of the Miami Dolphins and related Ross. But Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach are attracting both startups and established businesses looking for lower costs and a better quality of life. But money really isn't the only reason people pack up and come here. South Florida gives you freedom in how you can live. You can wake up near the ocean, grab a cup of coffee or even an energy drink in flip-flops and take a Zoom meeting under an actual palm tree, not just a green screen. Now, some want those skyline views and rooftop energies, others want backyard space, quiet streets, and top-rated schools, which is understandable. It's all possible here, and the flexibility is what makes people stay at the end of the day. It's not just about where you live, it's about how you live. And in South Florida, that decision becomes something you get to shape on your terms every single day. South Florida isn't just where people go to escape the winter, it's where people go to redesign their lifestyle completely. For some, it's the weather. For others, it's the diversity of the culture, the career opportunities, or the ability to trade traffic and gray skies for palm trees and possibility. Well, maybe not today with the weather. But whatever draws people here, the reason they stay is usually kind of deeper. It's the feeling of waking up and liking where you live at the end of the day. And if that's something you're thinking about, let's talk it through. I'm Vairo, and you can reach out to me and my team using the information on the screen. It's also in the description if you need it. Because as exciting as South Florida sounds, there's a side to living here that most people don't see at first glance. The part that starts once the sun goes down, the boxes are unpacked, and real life actually begins. Now, this is where South Florida becomes more than a vacation. You start to actually live it. And everyday life here isn't just about the beach. It's about the rhythm of a well-designed day. According to a recent survey, a majority of Floridians say outdoor recreation is essential to their health and their happiness. I don't blame them, along with probably working out. That could mean morning yoga at the beach in Pompano, a paddleboard ride down a mangrove-lined canal, or what I do, a walk along the intercoastal before most people in other cities have even poured their first coffee with the big guy. Now, you might start your day paddleboarding. By lunchtime, you're grabbing a mahi sandwich from a waterfront restaurant, preferably that of coconuts. And by sunset, you're looking out over the skyline from a rooftop spot in either Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, maybe even Brickell. That blend of nature, work, and nightlife isn't just a fantasy here, it's just how things flow and what locals do. If you're in Coral Springs or Delray, that might look like weekend bike rides through tree-lined corridors and parks, as well as family park days that don't require heavy jackets or months of waiting for in the spring. In Boca, mornings might mean a stroll through Meisner Park before you even check your email. In Miami, that could be a gallery walk, a quick cortadito and a croqueta from a sidewalk cafe, and then off to a meeting with the view, maybe even a Jamaican beef patty. Now, there's culture everywhere. Local art walks, outdoor concerts, food festivals, community yoga. With nearly 250 sunny days a year, the calendar stays full and the streets and waterways stay busy, even during the week. And if you're into sports, it doesn't get any better. We got football, hockey, baseball, basketball, golf, tennis, boating, and even rugby. Whether you're on the field or watching from a seat, the energy is infectious. But more than anything, what draws people in is a chance to live more deliberately at the end of the day. To swap winter blues for a pre-work walk along the sand, to replace seasonal stress with spontaneous sunset dinners, to have days that are full without feeling packed. That kind of lifestyle really sounds perfect, but it also comes with some curveballs. And when you live here full time, you'll start to notice what doesn't show up in the brochures. Everyone says South Florida has amazing weather, and they're right, most of the time, as you can see. But winter here is what people really dream about. Clear skies, temperatures in the 70s, maybe in the 60s, no ice, no snow, no shoveling driveways before work. I don't even know what that is. You can go for a run in January, you can paddleboard after your morning coffee. While much of the country is bundled up, you're outside in a t-shirt, maybe a tank top, actually enjoying the day, maybe even out on a boat. But the part no one really talks about, the summer, which we're in right now. And if you're not ready for this, it hits hard. From pretty much, I would say about April through September, the heat doesn't just show up, it surrounds you. Temperatures climb into the 90s almost every day, on top of the humidity, which makes it feel even hotter. Step outside mid-afternoon, maybe even at night, and it feels like you're walking into a literal sauna with no off switch. Then there's the rain. It doesn't just trickle in softly. Honestly, we might get rained on. It explodes loud, fast, and often when you least expect it. Every afternoon in the summer, you'll get a thunderstorm around 1 to 2 o'clock, rolls through, drenches everything, then disappears like it never happened. The good news is you'll learn to time your errands, your workouts, and pretty much everything else you do around the sky and the weather. And yes, hurricane season is real. From June through November, you need to stay aware. Most years, it's really just about preparation, making sure you got a plan, stocked up on supplies, and a basic understanding of pretty much everything that goes on in the evacuation zones. The media often makes it sound much scarier than it really is, but when a major storm does head this way, it can disrupt everything, flights, commutes, even home closings. So you just need to prepare like the locals do, you adapt, and you learn the rhythm that keeps everything moving, even when the forecast can look kind of wild. The truth is, most people adjust pretty quickly. The sunshine outweighs the storms, and the winters feel like a reward. And even those afternoon downpours start to feel like a part of the charm, a little bit of calm within the chaos sometimes. Still, weather affects more than just your outfit. It affects your home, your insurance, your daily flow, and that's where a lot of new residents really get blindsided. See, I told you we were gonna get rained on. But one thing you were probably wondering about hurricanes that we didn't hit on, the hurricane parties that you see all over social media. So yes, they are a legit thing. And for some reason, South Floridians, if it's anything from like a tropical storm to maybe a category 2, maybe a category 3, they don't take it as seriously. Now, don't get me wrong, they can be pretty damaging, but for the most part, a lot of people are pretty experienced with it. So they'll kind of use it as some time off, you know, hang out with some friends, things like that. Do I recommend it? That just becomes up to you. I told you the weather is absolutely wild. So as you can see, it was going to rain and we actually did get rained on, and now there's not a single cloud in the sky. I will say it's humid as a you-know-what. Now look, on paper, South Florida can look affordable. You won't pay state income tax, property taxes are lower than out of states like New Jersey or Illinois, and housing sometimes feel like a deal. But living here can get expensive once you factor in insurance. In the past couple years alone, homeowners in Florida saw premiums jump nearly 60% between 2019 and 2023. And that spike is far above the national average and definitely outpaces home price appreciation, just to be honest with you. For 2024, rates rose about 27% before leveling off, and the state-run insurance Citizens filed for a 14% rate increase in 2025. In fact, Insurify estimates that the average homeowner in Florida will pay about $15,460 per year by the end of 2025, roughly triple the national average. I will say though, if you live west of 95, definitely is gonna be less than that. But we are starting to see more and more carriers come back to the state, which will help to lower premiums across the board for everyone. And it's not just windstorm coverage. Flood insurance, especially in coastal areas east of 95, often becomes mandatory. Policies can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars based on things like elevation, your flood elevation, as well as your proximity to the water. The difference really starts to hit when your home is older and lacks modern upgrades like a new roof, electric panel, and impact windows. Those elements alone can send your rates into the thousands of dollars every single year. Across the state though, insurer after insurer has pulled out or faced insolvency, putting more pressure on homeowners and even Citizens itself. Most private carriers have tightened their underwriting process, pushing more and more people to Citizens, which is the government-backed insurance company. This matters because insurance isn't just a line item, it affects your monthly payment if you're getting a mortgage. how long you stay in your home, and even your ability to finance at the end of the day. That doesn't mean South Florida isn't worth it. It just means planning ahead of what you're doing, asking the right questions, deciding what trade-offs you're willing to make. And when you do that, you can move forward with confidence and clarity, better armed to enjoy your life here instead of being weighed down by surprise bills at the end of the day or even the end of the year. Now, if you're drawn to energy, sky-high views, and non-stop experiences, Brickell, South Beach, Edgewater, maybe even downtown Miami may be your perfect match. Think waterfront parks like South Point Park, high-end shopping at Brickell City Center, maybe even Bal Harbour shops, fitness studios, tower lobbies, and Cuban bakeries before your morning commute. After work, you might hit an art opening in Wynwood, a chef's tasting menu downtown, or dance the night away pretty much in Wynwood, the Grove, or even Miami Beach. But if the fast lane isn't for you, and I don't blame you, you'd rather start your day with coffee at a tree-lined patio, maybe stroll into brunch, then Delray Beach is definitely worth exploring. Picture Atlantic Ave's boutiques, the beach, and scenic public tennis courts, all within a few blocks of palm-lined streets and the beach paths, which are nowhere near as commercialized as further south. For families craving some space, community, and kid-focused amenities, Parkland and Coral Springs offer parks galore, like that of Pine Trails Park, excellent rec centers, and safe neighborhood streets. You got farmers markets, splash pads in the summer, and community pools where kids can make new friends all the time. Trust me, I grew up there. Now, if your vibe leans a little bit more towards creative and connected, let's take a look at maybe Wilton Manors or even Victoria Park in Fort Lauderdale. These lively neighborhoods feature craft breweries, independent art galleries, and community bike paths, not to mention dog-friendly parks and weekend festivals. Walk to brunch, run errands on foot, then you can paddleboard along the New River, which sounds pretty fun, maybe even jet ski or boat. Now, if you prefer calm, luxury, polished dining, and seamless coastal access, maybe Boca is worth a look. Meisner Park and Boca Town Center are shopping and dining hubs fronted by fountains, public plazas. The beaches are quiet, safe, and family-friendly. You'll also find some great parks like that of Spanish River Park and pickleball courts for casual weekend play. But if you're building something new, you're an early stage entrepreneur, maybe a remote professional, or even a first-time homebuyer, still wanting walkable downtown culture, then West Palm Beach might be the move. These areas offer cultural venues like that of the Kravis Center or City Place, gyms like Equinox coming, waterfront boardwalks, and a mix of cafes, vintage shops, juice bars, and some excellent restaurants. Bottom line, at the end of the day, South Florida is many different lifestyles all in one region. Some people want city on foot, others want yard and space. Some want nightlife, others want parks and pathways. Your goal isn't just to chase the most popular zip code according to the internet. It's to find the one that really brings the lifestyle you'll actually want to live. Should you buy or should you rent? It's probably one of the biggest questions people face when moving down here to South Florida. And the answer depends. I know, not what you want to hear, but it's more than just the money at the end of the day. It's really about the timing, lifestyle, and how sure you are about where you want to be. And if you're new to the area and still figuring out which city really fits you best, renting can give you a whole lot of breathing room and a chance to really test drive the different neighborhoods. You get to see what a weekday commute actually feels like, the nightlife, things to do, and find out if the beach is really still your go-to once it's no longer a vacation. Quick hint, most people actually fall in love with boating once they get here and really don't like the beach as much. On the other hand though, if you're confident in the area and plan to stay more than a few years, buying actually might be the smarter move. Interest rates are still unpredictable. However, we're able to find some buyers some creative solutions through either adjustable rate mortgages, 2-1 buy downs, or even builder incentives, not to mention plenty of other options. There's also a lifestyle factor. Owning gives you a whole lot more control. You can renovate, you can lock in your housing costs, you can house hack, and even have your own piggy bank instead of watching rent climb year after year. But it also comes with its costs like maintenance, taxes, and insurance responsibilities that renters really don't have to think about. They can just pack up and leave. Now, renting might be ideal if you're coming off a home sale, waiting to time your next purchase, or if you're working remotely and not really tied down to one spot yet. It can be a way to land softly without really rushing a 6-figure decision. The truth is, both options can definitely work. It's about what stage you're in and how long you plan to stay and how quickly you want to plant roots at the end of the day. And once you do make that call, everything else really starts to fall into place. So for example, I rent. However, I do own an investment property, but I decided to rent because my costs are a whole lot less. I can invest a lot more money into the business and make videos like this for you, On top of that, what I really want to live in on the water, I just can't afford yet, so I can constantly be saving and putting money towards other investments. Now down the road, I will definitely purchase and end up living on the water or out in Southwest ranches, and I promise you guys, you probably won't see me because I'll live in a house, have pretty much everything there: gym, home office, home bar, pool, everything. Backyard for the big guy. It's gonna be sweet if I don't live on the water. Now here's the part most people don't realize until they've already unpacked all their boxes. Moving to South Florida isn't just about the zip code. It's about the rhythm of your life. It's easy to fall for all the highlights. Think sunsets over the water, rooftop dinners, morning walks with ocean views. And while all that is very real, the people who love living here the most are the ones who move with intention at the end of the day. They know that each community feels completely different, that a 30-minute drive can take you from a quiet, family-centered, suburban-type neighborhoods to the pulse of high-rise city living. The weather isn't just a backdrop. It's no longer going to be a green screen. It affects your plans, your home, and most importantly, your insurance. They also understand that living here full-time means really adjusting. It means learning the shortcuts around rush hour, figuring out which neighborhoods feel like a fit on a Tuesday morning, not just on a weekend visit on a Saturday or a Sunday. That's why the move isn't just physical, it's really personal. And if you're starting to picture a life here, it's worth having the right conversation before you make the final decision. I'm Vairo, and my team helps people like you take the guesswork out of moving to South Florida. We help get clear on where, when, and why, so your move feels like a step forward, not just a change of scenery. Now, you can reach out anytime using the info on the screen or pinned in the description down below. We're here for you when you're ready. And honestly, if now's the time to keep learning, dive into the other videos on our channel. They're built to give you the local insights, lifestyle tips, and neighborhood breakdowns you really won't find anywhere else on the internet. Stick around and you'll start seeing South Florida like someone who already lives here.